Ladies and gentlemen, a warm welcome to the concluding session of Social Enterprise Summit 2017。各位先生女士，歡迎蒞臨社企民間高峰會2017嘅閉幕演講。I'm the MC of today, and my name is Yuki Wang 黃全玉。大家好。Thank you very much. The theme for this year is Unleashing Systemic Change. Today is the second day of our international symposium. Yesterday, we have invited distinguished guests to inspire us on a few topics that includes public innovation and collective intelligence, rethinking capitalism, and also we've heard an insightful discussion on a decade of cross-sector collaboration. Earlier today, there were 5 parallel tracks with intensive interactions and workshops on unleashing the power of business, STEM, capital impact, inspirations for services, and community entrepreneurship. 咁我哋今年嘅主題咧係創變未來。咁今日咧已經嚟到國際研討會嘅第2日。咁琴日咧，我哋有嘉賓咧分別為我哋分享咗公共創新與城市嘅集體智慧、再思資本主義以及跨界別嘅10年合作3個主題。咁我相信咧，今日喺較早嘅時候咧，大家都去咗幾個唔同嘅環節或者工作坊，分別咧係圍繞5個主題。咁包括咧就係釋放商業嘅能量、STEM 創校、創變社會嘅融資、社會服務嘅再想像，同埋咧策動社區嘅創新力量㗎。So I hope you've all enjoyed the program, and it has come to the highlight of the symposium of today, the panel discussion on business for social good. How can we balance social and business interest at the same time maintaining purpose and profit? 咁今日咧嚟到我哋研討會嘅重頭戲，以商業嘅創變社會嘅效益嘅討論環節。咁內容咧就會討論咧企業究竟點樣滿足呢個市場嘅需要嘅同時咧，為社會創造呢個價值，達至咧一個可持續發展嘅願景。So you can pay attention to our screen because we will have a Q&A discussion afterwards. So after the discussion, there will be an interactive Q&A with info shown on the screen. So if you wish to post any questions, just feel free to input the event code. The event code is Y245, and you can inspire us with your questions. 咁喺我哋今日嘅討論之後咧，有一個答問嘅環節。咁大家咧可以參考下熒幕上面嘅資料，咁透過網上嘅系統咧向我哋嘅嘉賓發問嘅。Facilitating the panel discussion today, we are very honored to have Mr Antony Leung, Group Chairman and CEO of Nan Fung Group. Let's invite him on stage. 所以我们非常荣幸邀请到南丰集团的董事长及行政总裁梁锦松先生作为我们研讨会的主持人。And our speakers for today, let me invite them one by one. 咁我哋今日嘅演講嘉賓有 Mr Kyle Westaway, author of Profit and Purpose from the United States. Mr Colin Downie, Sales and Partnership Director of the WildHearts Group of the United Kingdom. And last but not the least, 中国腾讯公益慈善基金会的执行秘书长窦瑞刚先生。So time to you, gentlemen. Thank you.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. 各位下午好，好榮幸能夠嚟到今日呢一個講 social enterprise. I mean, it is indeed my honor to be here to really moderate this very interesting panel. As you know, the organizer is on social enterprise, and we all know that social enterprise is not really a new thing. Even from 1902, there was a company called Goodwill Industries in the United States that pioneered the idea of a hands up, not a handout. And what they did was they employ the poor to mend and repair used goods and then resell it. Today, they have created training and employment for 2 million people and generated 4.6 billion in revenue. And clearly, we are now seeing a renewed focus on applying the techniques and tools from business to address the social issues, and the emergence of various hot topics such as the conscious consumerism and impact investing. And so before I begin, I would share with you some data on social enterprise. Now, in 2014, there was an organization in the States called the Social Enterprise Alliance, and they find out that the number of social enterprises has been growing very rapidly in recent years. 60% of the United States social enterprises were created in 2006 or later, with a third created after 2011. Now, maybe the reason why so many social enterprises were created in recent years is partly due to the so-called global financial crisis in 2008, because after that the global financial crisis, more and more people around the world find that so-called capitalism, if unchecked, so-called capitalism meaning with the purpose of maximizing profit as the number one objective, will probably bring to kind of a lot of unjust phenomena in the society. And it clearly is not something that we would desire. And maybe that explains why many of the social enterprises were formed after 2008. However, the size and the revenue of many of these social enterprises, at least in the United States, are still very small. About 40% of the US social enterprises have fewer than 5 employees. And then in the UK, which has been a hotbed of activities in social enterprise as well, about 9% of the UK small business population are social enterprises. Again, many of them are fairly small. And then in China, according to a report in 2012, many of the social enterprises are still in their very early stage. 71% of them generate less than $500,000 RMB in annual revenue. Now, clearly, China is an emerging country, and the phenomenon of the social enterprises is also emerging as well. But nevertheless, we are seeing an increase in social enterprises. But on the other hand, today we have a topic that is very interesting, a little bit different from the CSR that we have been commonly referred to before, meaning corporate social responsibility, and that is BSG, Business for Good. And I think this is an interesting change, and hopefully a change that will stay. And that is, instead of corporations making money and then allocating a portion for CSR, for donations, doing charities and that kind of thing, Business for Good may mean, at least in my understanding, that we can make money by doing good things for the society. And that is at least what I understand BSG. Now, sharing with us their experience and observations are 3 very distinguished speakers, and I'll introduce them one by one. The first one is Mr. Kyle Westaway. He practices law in the United States, in New York City, where he specializes in new legal structures such as the B Corps. He is also the author of Profit and Purpose, featuring profiles of 13 innovating social enterprises, and is a lecturer on law at the Harvard Law School, where he teaches a course on social entrepreneurship. So without further ado, can I ask Kyle to give us his insights?
Social entrepreneurship, or social entrepreneurs, really have the heart of Gandhi with the head of Henry Ford. And when I say that, what I mean is they're seeking to solve real social and environmental problems by the application of real business principles that are rigorous and evaluate their impact. Now, I've been working in social enterprise for the last 10 years. I've been a social entrepreneur myself. I have worked with hundreds of social entrepreneurs as a lawyer, and I teach the the topic at Harvard Law School. One thing I've noticed that was actually highlighted in the opening remarks is that we oftentimes see early stage social enterprise, but we rarely see them scale to a large scale and have impact at large scale. So that made me curious. Why is that? Why is that happening? That started me on a quest to ask some questions of some organizations that I actually thought have been able to blend profit and purpose at scale. Some organizations like Warby Parker, Charity Water, Method, IBM, Nike, among others. As I sat down to talk with the social entrepreneurs, the founders, the CEOs of these organizations, what I realized is they're all trying to solve very different problems, but they share some common characteristics. And the culmination of my insights from these conversations, I put in a book called Profit and Purpose. And what I want to talk to you today is about the 7 characteristics of impactful social entrepreneurs that have been able to go from concept to scale while creating a real impact through business. So let's start with the beginning. The founding stories of all of these organizations were very diverse, and because they're very quirky and different and sometimes weird people, they come from very different perspectives with very different levels of education. But one thing that I learned is that they've all been able to find their purpose point. The purpose point is where your skills and your passion align with a specific need in the specific social or environmental need in the world. And then they're able to leverage cultural shifts that align with that purpose point. So a cultural shift might be a change in technology, it might be a change in consumer behavior, or it might be a political change. But they're able to ride that wave to make sure that their particular solution to their problem is effective. So by finding their purpose point, they've been able to catalyze their impact. Second, the impactful social entrepreneur designs with humility. So to be a great social entrepreneur, of course you have to be bold, you have to be audacious. You're solving problems that nobody else has been able to solve before, so you can't be kind of shy about that. But what I've learned actually is though the visions are very bold, the actual execution tends to be pretty humble. And when I say humble, I mean this, that they're mostly seeking to ask questions rather than give answers, to listen rather than to speak. And this is particularly important at the design phase of any particular social enterprise. So as you're building out the prototype of your product or service, humility is incredibly important. It's the relentless questioning of what does the end user actually need or want? How can we iterate, how can we get their feedback and then iterate and build that feedback into the product that we're creating? So it's really about human-centered design that creates breakthrough products. Impactful social entrepreneurs also build through hustle. Now, the most important resource of any social enterprise is the human resource, the human capital. It's those first volunteers, those first employees that see the vision and want to build something really meaningful together. The best social entrepreneurs are able to do 2 things very well at this stage. The first thing is to sell the vision. It's painting a picture of a future whereby we have solved the particular problem we're setting out to solve, and the world is a better place because of it. And then secondly, they're inviting co-creators into that process. So they're willing to and excited about engaging other people that want to see that world be a better place, and they're able to show where their particular role could be to help make that future come to life. So it's really about rallying people around a vision to create momentum. The impactful social entrepreneur also funds through commitment. Now, human capital obviously is important, but in order to go from 0 to 1 or to go to scale, you need capital, you need financial capital. It doesn't matter if you're raising venture capital in Silicon Valley or if you're raising philanthropic capital here in Hong Kong, you have to do 2 things very well, which is 1, identify the partners that care about and are passionate about the same problems you're passionate about solving, and that they catch your vision for how you're trying to solve it. And then secondly, you need to ensure that you're making the right ask at the right time. When you do that, you're able to align partnerships that hopefully will last will endure through the lifetime of the organization. Impactful social entrepreneurs connect with authenticity. We are bombarded by multiple marketing messages every day. If you think about how many ads you saw just walking over here today, it might be 50, 100, or maybe even 1,000 on the way over here today. Brands are seeking the most scarce resource, which is our attention as they're trying to sell us something. Typically, the way they do this is they essentially grab a megaphone and try to shout more frequently and louder than their competition. But as social entrepreneurs, we actually have a different weapon. Rather than the megaphone, we have the magnet. And our magnet is really about drawing people in to the vision of our impact and our impact story. So in some senses, social entrepreneurs have the ability to build a community that's much more authentic and breaks through the noise of all the marketing that exists out there. But it has to be done in a human manner, and it has to be done in an authentic manner. Consumers, and specifically millennial consumers, are getting much more savvy about understanding when people are just talking the talk as opposed to walking the walk. And so my recommendation, what I've seen from these great impactful social entrepreneurs, is that they value honesty over perfection. So when they're talking to their audience about the impact that they're creating, they're not necessarily saying we have it down perfectly, but they're saying this is the impact that we're trying to create, and we're on this journey together. And by doing so, you build this human connection that builds a larger movement. Beyond just selling one product to a customer, it builds a more sticky and a higher level of engagement with your audience and with your customer. The impactful social entrepreneur scales through community. So going from 10 employees to 100 employees, or from 100 employees to 1,000 employees, is a really difficult challenge for most entrepreneurs. It's very easy at that pace of growth to lose sight of the impact that you're actually trying to create. But if you think about it, every company is just a collection of what the frontline employees are doing every day. And if they're not connected to the vision and the values of the company, it's very easy to drift off that course. So the impactful social entrepreneur does two things very well. They consistently and clearly define the core values of the organization. And then secondarily, they incentivize their employees based on actualizing those core values. If the employee doesn't see that by living those values out, they are going to excel in the organization, they're probably very unlikely to actually live out those values. And so smart growth requires a strong culture based on your core values. And then lastly, impactful entrepreneurs evaluate with honesty. You manage only what you measure. If you're seeking to set out to create a social or environmental impact, you better be measuring that. And with that measurement, with that data that you're bringing in, it's essential to be honest internally about where you're succeeding and where you're failing, where you're falling short. Because without that honesty, you'll never continually improve. So these are just the tips of the iceberg of these 7 characteristics. If you're interested, you should dig into the book, but I'm looking forward to, after this, talking with my esteemed colleagues here about these topics. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much, Kyle. Next, we have Colin Downie. He's a founding member of the WildHearts Group, the largest B2B social enterprise in the UK, where he is the director of the organization's sales and partnerships. He also sits on the board of Social Enterprise UK. So, Colin, please.
Good afternoon, the Social Enterprise Summit. Thank you very much for inviting us over here from the UK to give you an insight into what we do and how our social enterprise market is driving forward. And I'm really delighted to share the buoyancy of the market actually in the UK at this time. Thanks for the introduction. I'm the Sales and Partnership Director of the WildHearts Group, but I also sit on the board of Social Enterprise UK. But that puts me in quite a unique position because the majority of the businesses that I'm going to talk to you about today are actually our customers. So I know them both from the Social Enterprise UK market space, but I equally know them as a customer and a very trusted and fundamental supplier. are. So I'm hoping to give you some insights today that which will hopefully give you some hints and tips. If you're a corporate or an SME business in the room, listen carefully, because there's a lot of corporate money out there that you can be driving into your social enterprise. And if you're a social enterprise and you're scaling and you're developing, I think there's some strong messages here to help you on that journey. I thought it'd be important just to give you a little bit of a background to the UK marketplace at the moment. The recent State of Social Enterprise survey actually shows that there are now 78,000 social enterprises in the UK, and that comprises 5% of the UK's GDP. And that contributes £24 billion to the UK economy, employing over 1 million people. So the sector's really starting to develop and scale when you aggregate some of those figures together. And what I think is really, really encouraging about the sector these days is that social enterprises are outperforming SME business on all of these metrics. They're employing more people, they're more diverse organizations, they're led by more women. They have much greater alignment between CEO pay ratio. They're working in areas of the UK that are the most deprived, so they're actually businesses that are directly addressing major social problems. And I think that is one of the key takeaways to help the sector develop in Hong Kong, where social enterprise, I think, can play a really powerful part in the future of some of the welfare and elderly issues that are commonly talked about in Hong Kong. I want to make a pretty clear point, actually, about the strength of social enterprise in corporate business. The FTSE 100, which is the data metrics for the top 100 businesses in the UK, the average CSR spend of a FTSE 100 business is around about £10 million. The average procurement budget is about £2 billion. So if every business in the UK spent all of that procurement money with social enterprises, what kind of a world could we actually all live in? But why does business get engaged with this agenda? Well, I can't go through all of the slide. There's multiple reasons, and you've seen some of the advantage on the previous slide. But it is great for their business. It's more innovative. It's more sustainable. It helps them retain their talent. It helps them recruit new talent, and it makes monetary sense, and it positions those businesses completely differently in diverse markets with different audiences. I personally can't see much of a downside. So I was asked today to try and give you sort of an insight into what is called the Buy Social Corporate Challenge, a program that's run by Social Enterprise UK that encourages businesses, both big and small, to work with social enterprises in the UK to hit clear spend targets. Many businesses in the UK are starting to sign up where they can aggregate their procurement spend and buy directly from more social enterprises. Some of the stats here, I don't have time to go through a lot of this, but some of the core objectives of getting involved so that business can take positive sort of steps to spend more with society. Another example is they can demonstrate that business in any sector can buy from social enterprises. I'm going to give you a link later on today that will help you take more details away from today's presentation. There's a program of support that trains procurement people and communications people how to take the best advantage of working with social enterprise. There's some amazing stories of impact to be told from both sides that can contribute to the benefit of both social enterprise and corporate business. The Buy Corporate Social Challenge now has 10 signed up members with a combined turnover of over £200 billion. With a reach of 773,000 employees talking and being communicated to around social enterprise. That's a very powerful market to be talking about the unique position that social enterprise can take in the market space. And with a total spend of £10 billion, a lot of lives could be transformed when you harness that corporate procurement power. This is a slide taken from Johnson & Johnson, one of our customers, that is their philosophy that if they can spend their pounds with social enterprise, they can make a lot more impact for the communities in which Johnson & Johnson lives. I know it's very difficult to put human characteristics on companies, but they're made up of employees as important as social enterprise employees, and by transforming that pound into social enterprise pounds, that philosophy can go an awful long way. In year one, I want to just share some impact figures of the Buy Corporate Social Challenge. Some of these have actually gone up since this report was released. But when you start to have a look at the report and you start to see the significance of the government framework in the UK supporting social enterprise and the likes of Muhammad Yunus's philosophy around what business can stand for, then the traction has really got a great deal of momentum. And those 10 corporate partners now actually spend closer to £30 million with social enterprises, and the target is to spend £1 billion. But there were 7 founding partners, 35 procurement professionals have been trained as an example, and 23 direct media articles created on the back of this specific challenge. There is a future program for supporting the procurement professionals and how they can diagnose and train and get further support to increase that spend. And some examples like Blue Water, where all the profits go to WaterAid. In the top right is a Clarity soap company that employs disabled and blind people. And then the WildHearts Group, where we use business services and use all the profit for the WildHearts Foundation. In the report, you can read really detailed case studies around some of the best-known brands in the UK and what they've done specifically with other social enterprises that I don't have time to be able to take you through. But I want to share some of the brands as well that WildHearts works with, because it goes much greater than the Buy Social Corporate Challenge. We have over 2,000 companies in the UK now buying our products and services, and they have great advantages by working with us. Likewise, we have a massive advantage of working with them, because as a simple example, in the 10 years that we've been driving WildHearts forward, we've been able to invest £5 million in the WildHearts Foundation, and we've affected 200,000 lives. So if we've managed to do that in 10 years, I'd sort of heavily encourage, what can your businesses do if you could drive towards corporate procurement spend? And from a government's perspective, what could your corporate sector do for society by simply thinking differently about the way they spend their Hong Kong dollars? This is the report you need to look at on Social Enterprise UK, and I'll probably wind up there at this point because running out of time and getting the evil eye, so we can continue this session and get the discussion happening later. But I'll be here for the rest of the evening, and please approach me if you want to ask any further direct questions. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Colin. 我们第3位讲解的是窦瑞刚先生。窦先生是腾讯公益慈善基金会的创始人跟执行秘书长，他也是深圳的老龄发展基金的副主席。请窦先生。
尊敬的各位来宾、女士们、先生们，大家下午好。和我们社企高峰论坛一样，今年腾讯基金会10岁了。11年前的5月，在香港发布2005年财报的以马化腾为首的腾讯创始人和高管团队，意识到生存对于腾讯来说已经不再是问题时，他们决定每年拿出利润的一定百分比捐赠出来，以回报社会。至今，腾讯及腾讯的员工已经累计捐赠超过了25.2亿元人民币，用于扶贫救灾、教育发展以及推动互联网加公益。过去10年，作为中国首个由互联网企业发起成立的基金会，除了捐赠资金和发动员工志愿者参与公益以外，我们一直推动这个互联网和公益慈善事业的深度融合。我们搭建了腾讯公益网络平台，让这个平台成为爱和善的连接器，连接企业、公益组织以及亿万网友。10年来，我们一直坚持做一件事情，就是将腾讯的互联网技术、产品和资源等核心能力赋能给到公益慈善事业。 我们把腾讯的亿万用户和社交基因以及这个社交资源赋能给公益事业。我们知道微信有超过9.3亿的活跃用户， QQ 也有超过8.5亿的用户。我们设计和开发了许多公益产品，如基于 QQ 的，我们开发了 QQ 公益图标、爱心果、月捐计划。微信诞生以后，我们又开发了一起捐、一心家等基于微信朋友圈社交特性的募捐工具，帮助公益组织更好地连接、动员网友和企业。我们把良好的治理能力赋能给公益慈善事业。我们通过互联网技术推动公益的公开透明。腾讯公益平台上线了项目透明度的组件，用模块化这个标准化的技术，让腾讯公益平台上筹款的项目更加透明，做到可追踪、可追溯、可记录，帮助公益组织提升信息披露的专业化，并将透明披露作为参与99公益日的一个准入条件，把公益组织和公益项目装进玻璃口袋。我们把腾讯的创意能力赋能给公益慈善事业。我们都知道，腾讯已经成为全球最大的文创集团。我们希望通过创意能够推动公益组织和项目的传播和社会影响。2015年，我们发起了全球第一个互联网筹款日99公益日，希望能够打造一个充满创意的公益节日。希望互联网在推动公益变得简单、便捷、透明的同时，也希望互联网能让公益更加有趣和时尚。在第一届99公益日，腾讯基金会拿出9999万的公益资金，以1比1的方式匹配爱心网友的捐赠。3天的时间里头，有超过205万网友参与，捐赠的资金超过了1.25亿元人民币。在去年的第2届99公益日，腾讯将匹配捐赠的资金又增加了1个亿，提升到了1亿9999万。那同时，我们采取了更有趣味性的随机配捐方式，即网友捐赠1块钱，可能会获得低于或者高于1块钱的匹配捐赠资金。3天的时间里头，动员超过670万网友的爱心参与，加上其他企业的配捐，为公益组织动员的社会资金超过了6亿元人民币。今年的第3届99公益日，腾讯基金会的匹配资金又增加了1个亿，达到了2亿9999万，连同其他企业的配捐，共计4.8亿。那么3天的时间，有超过1268万人次的网友参与，那捐赠的资金超过了8.29亿元。那3天的时间，累计为中国公益慈善组织动员的社会资金超过了13个亿。腾讯还将广告资源、明星、名人资源以及合作伙伴的资源贡献出来，通过朋友圈广告、手 Q 弹窗等核心资源，让更多的公益项目更好地呈现在网友面前，并设计了更多的线下互动场景，让公益融入公众生活，将受助人、捐助人、公益组织、企业、明星、名人和亿万爱心网友有机地连接起来，开启了各种线上和线下相结合的互动活动。那么互动的这个量达到了1.8亿人次。至今，经过10年的努力，腾讯公益平台上已经超过了1.49亿人次的爱心网友，累计捐赠的善款超过了38.4亿元。腾讯公益已经成为亿万网友爱心的连接器和放大器。10年前，腾讯基金会成立之初提出的人人可公益的愿景已经初步实现。今天，人工智能也就是 AR 热潮席卷全球。当世界围棋顶级高手柯洁投子认输的时候，他悲伤地承认阿尔法狗已经颠覆了他对围棋的理解。于是有越来越多的人担心人工智能将最终替代人类智慧，人工智能的发展会毁灭人类。 但我认为，人类智慧独一无二的地方，除了可以被 AR 超越的智能外，更重要的是，我们还有另外一个小写的 AR， 它就是汉语中爱的拼音。人类因为拥有爱和慈悲，我们才能够不断创变、发明并掌控 AR， 让它为人类服务，缔造更加美好的未来。人类历史上从来没有一个时代借助互联网，数十亿的人这么紧密地连接起来，它使人类真正成为你中有我，我中有你的人类命运共同体。腾讯认为，互联网加公益的本质就是通过互联网连接、激发人类的爱心和善良，用科技连接信任，让每一个微小的善行更有力量，从而创造使人类命运更加美好的信任，这样一个最重要的社会资本。今天，香港社企高峰论坛的举办，让我们更有理由相信，创变世界，未来已来。让我们一起用行动激发人性中的大爱和慈悲，让我们一起努力，用公益参与来改变社会，用移动互联网加公益慈善来温暖美丽中国，让未来的世界更加美好。谢谢大家。
谢谢窦总，讲得非常好。就是这个刚才窦总说的，在这个99公益，其实就是跟腾讯另外抢红包的理念差不多一致。很感谢，因为我们在中国小母牛就是我们中国小母牛也是他们可以支持的项目之一，所以我们也抢了一点。But I think today since the panel discussion is business for social good, and maybe I'll just kind of come back to this theme. Kyle, you talk about the 7 characteristics of successful social enterprises, but from kind of a business angle, and I've been in business for quite a long time, these 7 disciplines are actually no different from what I call successful business enterprises. So why is there and should there be a differentiation between business corporates and social enterprise?
Well, I think the difference is in what the intended objective is, right? So a classic shareholder maximization or pure shareholder maximization viewpoint of business might lead down a certain path, whereas a broader stakeholder viewpoint would lead down a different path. So though the characteristics may be similar, the aim at which they're targeting I think is different, in that there is the social entrepreneur is targeting double or triple bottom line impact, right? So the idea that financial returns can be pursued as well as social and environmental returns. So the aim is different. There is a lot of overlap, I agree, with just running a good business, right? And I think that's true.
Yeah, I think if I may follow up, clearly in the earlier stage of so-called capitalism, or should I say the kind of the industrial way of running things.
Sure.
And in the business school, which obviously maybe we are part of it, part of the evil, the business schools talk about maximization of profit.
Sure.
But on the other hand, would it be possible to prove, and since you're a professor, you can work with your colleagues across the Charles River, the HBS guys, I mean, I happen to be a member, to prove that long-term profitability actually is a function of doing corporate goods as well, I mean long-term. Because if you think about it, the 2 most important constituents to a business is one, customer, the other is employees. And customers and employees today do not just focus on the economic value or the value of the money they pay. The new generation of consumers and employees also care about all these kind of indicators of corporate good, whether you are doing things green, meaning sustainable, whether you are buying things from kind of good sources, which is what I'm going to ask Colin later on. So maybe you can work with your colleagues in the business school to somehow prove and therefore advocate that long-term profitability is positively correlated with all these other KPIs as well.
Yeah, I think that that study is already starting to be underway, and the early indications are that companies specifically that focus on environmental improvements see a long-term stock bump, but it doesn't happen right away. And the problem is, specifically on publicly traded companies, the problem is when you're managing quarter to quarter, it's hard for a CEO to make those decisions that may not really have a good bump until 5 years later. So it's real challenging for the CEO of a publicly traded company to do that. I do agree with you that taking the long-term view, when you're applying these principles, you're actually creating more financial value long-term.
Well, thank you. Colin, I think following on this direction, your organization has been very clever in using purchasing as one of the levers. And as you said, I mean, the average amount of CSR budget is 2 million, but the average purchasing budget is 2 billion. So it's kind of 1,000 times. Other than purchasing, what are the other levers that you can think of that can somehow propel corporate businesses to really pursue social good? Because think about it. I mean, early on, I talk about most of the social enterprises are actually very small. And the number of employees is also tiny compared to large corporations. If you can somehow use some levers to encourage or coerce these business corporates to pursue social good as well, I mean, the impact would be phenomenal. So what other levers are there?
It's a very good question, and you're right to point out that in certain markets of social enterprises that are small, there are challenges for small social enterprises to deal with large-scale organizations. That being said, I think the more corporate business seeks to spend money with social enterprises, the bigger they get. So they can improve and scale when corporates actively look to try and buy. But there are many other levers. One, impacting your future talent. You've mentioned Generation Y and Z. It's very common in the UK now for young people to be asking and interviewing the companies what they are doing for their communities and for their social impact. It's far beyond environmental these days. So young Deloitte and PwC all talk about getting interviewed by millennials now because young people can get the same job with all these businesses but want to know what that business stands for. Many of our customers are now winning business with each other because those corporate businesses are coming towards a shared value set of seeking out social enterprises and social impact. So Johnson & Johnson have recently started using NFU mutual insurers because they're all working in the same social enterprise space. And there is a lot of statistics which I can share with you after today of long-term employee retention, where you do not lose employees when you stand for something greater than your existing business and profitability alone. So it's good for your team, it's good for your business, and it's really good for your future talent. There is no downside to seeking out social enterprises in your supply chain.
Yeah, I think that is excellent, and maybe between the two of you and also the people in the audience, somehow we can design KPIs and also prove that these KPIs are positively correlated with long-term profitability, and then have lists of, shall I say, good enterprise and not so good enterprise. And it will really, I think, change, hopefully all, but at least a lot of business to sit up and think about this. And again, if all the corporate business can really do social good, it will be far more powerful than seeding the social enterprises, which are tiny. 窦总，你刚才说这个99公益当然是非常的这个创新跟有效的，但是腾讯有没有想过用你们这样强大的科技的平台，有这样多的，你刚才说9亿个人的这个微信的用户，还有2亿多的QQ 用户，怎么用你们的平台去剖析，或者是引导其他的企业，无论是国企也好，民企也好，是能够追求这个社会的公益，而不光是赚了钱才捐一点点小钱去做公益的事业。
这个问题其实倒还 真的没有特别的设计过，因为我们是觉得这个9亿的用户，那个包括微信有9亿，这个 QQ 也将近9亿，这因为用户其实不是我们的。所以我们其实是用这些用户去改变其他企业的商业行为，其实这可能不是我们的这个能力范围内。我们觉得其实是因为这些用户其实就是可能其他的企业也有这样的用户，但是我们可能可以在我们这个包括我们做99公益日，包括我们做网络平台，希望能够改变我们的用户他对于公益慈善的态度，他对于社企的态度，他对于可能说我们环境的态度，那么他们的态度改变了，可能这个他们的需求就改变了，最终他们对于这个雇主和对于其他的商业企业提供的产品的这个购买就改变了。可能我们实际上是做的是前端，就是希望通过我们这样设计的腾讯公益平台这样的一个互动参与式的方式来改变。因为我们的网友都比较年轻，改变他们的对于慈善的观念、对公益的观念、对社会的观念，包括尤其是今年我们专门拿出了20亿的广告资源，来用于推这个创意广告，那么就是公益性的、创意性的广告，希望这个就是想来改变他们对企业、对商业的看法。
好，谢谢。不过我还是觉得你们有这样多的用户，而且年轻人的都是最喜欢用社交平台来推荐或者是介绍不同的产品跟服务的。如果能够，当然不一定是你们自己做了，你们也可以找白手套，把比较好的企业让用户就是年轻人互相评比，而评比的标准呢是跟社会公益有关的，这个很可能就可以导致这个商户或者是企业做多一点公益的事业。Well, I think we have a session that we can answer questions from the floor. Now, the first one, do you think technology is a must for social enterprise to scale up both business and social impact? Kyle?
Technology is not a must. There are certainly social enterprises that do not use any breakthrough or innovative technology. I mean, I think any business is going to be hampered if they're not using some technology in their operations that will make them more efficient. But you don't need, when I spoke about leveraging a cultural shift, technology is one of those. But an example of an organization that didn't use any fancy technology but has been able to scale pretty well is an all-natural body care product called Burt's Bees. And they do lip balms, they do lotions. Their goal, their mission was to be an environmentally and safe product for people to put on their bodies and have in their homes. And they didn't have any fancy technology per se that made that happen. What they did is they rode the wave of the cultural shift of consumers preferring more clean and more all-natural products. So it's not a necessity to have a cultural or to have a technological shift, but it can be helpful.
Well, thank you. Let me take the last question, and that is the people is the most important asset in any organization. How can we attract and retain talents in social enterprises, especially at their early stage? Colin, any insight?
I think actually you've maybe got a unique issue with this in Hong Kong, where a lot of the best talent from universities ends up in the finance and the banking systems, and you need to definitely try and attract towards social enterprises. This is a relatively difficult one to answer. I don't think there is a silver bullet. I do think younger generation, I was once asked, will millennials and the Generation Y save the world? I don't know. I think there's lots of us who are a bit older who are trying to play our part in that. But they are looking for something very different. So if governments can be innovative and social enterprises can, state a very strong case and seek to maximize and leverage their stories and their business acumen, I think there's a very strong future for social enterprise attracting talent. But it needs to have support from the government. I think it needs to have support from social enterprises, and being very good at selling their story, but social enterprises being committed and efficient businesses that allow them to attract that talent. So gone are the days of relying on social stories stories. They have to be very businesslike in their mindset in order to attract business talent.
窦总有一条是中文的，非常直接。当然刚才两位都说了这个政府的功能，这个等一下 Matthew 上来的时候他可以讲了。刚才有个中文人是说这个腾讯公益能带到香港吧，因为我们香港很多公益机构都希望能抢到你的好几亿的基金。
其实应该可能，在不久的将来，我们腾讯公益的这个平台就能够在香港上线香港版本的。因为就是实际上它这里主要的一个障碍在电子支付障碍，就是这个我们要通过这个网络支付来进行付款捐赠。那这个原来我们在香港这边的这个电子支付不太就是效果不太好。那么最近我们这个应该是解决了这个技术问题，所以我们正在和我们的支付团队一起来做腾讯公益的这个香港的版本，为香港的本地的公益组织进行这个社会筹款和网络筹款来服务。
窦总是很客气跟巧妙的说，是可以的，问题是特区政府，因为特区政府呢什么都不准，包括网上的支付等等都是很多这个阻碍。而且当然我们也知道其他的科技，包括什么共享单车啊、共享汽车啊，都是非法的。所以可能 Matthew 等一下也可以回应一下吧。我猜只有最后的一个问题了，因为工作人员说只有1分钟。Hearing the experience and insights from the UK, US, and the mainland China, what Hong Kong business sector could do to make business, to make it a bigger trend in Hong Kong. Any insight from any of you? Kyle?
So I've actually been very impressed, specifically about the government's role in supporting social enterprise here. We don't see that as much in the U.S., and it's actually really refreshing. We heard Mrs. Carrie Lam speak at the opening, which was really impressive. I would say if I had a recommendation, I do think that the benefit corporation legislation is an important move that may be helpful for social enterprises here, and maybe some more support around incubators and early stage funding for early stage social entrepreneurs.
Well, thank you. I think if I may add my comments, I think the entire world is going to shift from just profit maximization to really long-term profit maximization. And long-term profit maximization in today's age, particularly with the generation Ys and Zs coming into play, will focus not just on the economic value, on how much you can get with the money that you pay for certain goods and services, but really on all the other indicators as well, including whether you are buying from responsible vendors and your potential employees. And we all believe that talent is the most important competitive edge for any corporation, business or social. Talents would only join corporations that they believe they can share the purpose. And a lot of the best practices in social enterprise should be adopted by business enterprise as well. Now, clearly, a lot depends on the leadership of the business corporation. Business corporations, and we are talking about business corporations for social good, the leaders can do everything. And if the leader can adopt a purpose or an attitude that, like the Bible said, seek first God's kingdom and righteousness, and then the rest will be given to you. And the rest obviously includes profit. So I will encourage all the business leaders to pursue not just profit, but pursue the kingdom and the righteousness of God first, which includes act justly, love humility, and then walk humbly with your God. And with that, I'm quite sure that all the business will be working for social good. And there is hopefully not too much differentiation between the business enterprise as well as social enterprise. And with that, let us thank all the panelists for their insightful remarks, and hopefully we will have a better Hong Kong. Thank you.
Thank you all. Please stay. 请继续的留步。 Now, may we invite Mrs. Rebecca Yeung, Chair of Organizing Committee of Social Enterprise Summit, to come on stage and present souvenirs to Mr. Leung and our guest speakers. Mrs. Yeung, please. Please come forward to the stage. 请到台前接受纪念品。For our guest speakers, the souvenir is a wine glass charm made by Les Bititu, a social enterprise set up to support women who want to need to work in a flexible arrangement. So it's a very, very meaningful gift, and we hope you like it. And for Mr. Leung, it is a book just published by Education for Good, a social enterprise co-founded by Mrs. Yeung. So it's hot from stove, and hope you read it soon. So please come forward, all come forward to the stage to take a group picture. 所以有请各位到台前来一个大合照。Thank you very much. Please take a seat. Yes, please take a seat.咁都提提大家啦，其實咧嚟緊嘅11月9號啦同10號咧，我哋都仲有社創嘅體驗啦，同埋社區嘅導賞嘅。So in the following 2 days, we still have social tours and innovation visit, and we hope to see you on those 2 days as well. So our stage is prepared, and may we now invite Mr. Matthew Cheung, Chief Secretary for Administration of the Hong Kong Special Administrative Region Government, to address us with the closing remark.
Rebecca, Antony, Kyle, Colin, Reagan, good afternoon. It is my great honor to witness the successful conclusion of the 10th Social Enterprise Summit. Let me first express my warmest congratulations to the organizer, Hong Kong Social Entrepreneurship Forum, and the 15 co-organizers of the summit today. I would also like to extend my sincere gratitude to Kyle, Colin, and Reagan for their very perceptive, thought-provoking, and inspiring keynote speeches and presentations just now, and to the 50 prominent speakers from around the world for sharing their insights and experience on driving the continuous development and raising public awareness of social enterprises and social innovation. In her maiden policy address last month, Mrs. Carrie Lam, our chief executive, stated clearly that the government should promote cross-sectoral and cross-professional collaboration, as well as public-private partnership, to make better use of our resources and provide more comprehensive care for the needy in Hong Kong. Indeed, doing things the traditional way cannot help us cope with the considerable demands in a changing environment. We need innovations and the cooperation of all quarters of society to explore new modes of service delivery to enhance our capacity and better suit the needs of the community. The Social Enterprise Summit promotes social entrepreneurship as an agent of social change and explores ways to enhance the business capabilities of social enterprises and social innovation. Over the past decade, the summit has raised significantly public awareness of social innovation and built a strong network among civil society, business corporations, academia, and the government here in Hong Kong. The theme of this year's summit is Unleashing Systemic Change. It has attracted over 3,000 participants from all over the world to identify opportunities for achieving systemic changes in social innovation in key areas such as business power, social technology, social finance, innovative social services, and community entrepreneurship. The theme is indeed timely and sits very well with our policy objectives for promoting social enterprises and creating social impact by supporting innovations that address poverty and social exclusion. The Hong Kong SAR government is committed to serving as the promoter and facilitator for the development of social enterprises in Hong Kong with a view to fostering a new caring culture and enhancing social harmony. We believe that social enterprises can help create employment opportunities for the disadvantaged and enable them to be self-reliant while providing a new platform for the entire community to join hands to resolve social problems with innovative approaches and thinking. The development of social entrepreneurship in Hong Kong is encouraging. The number of social enterprises has increased threefold, from about 200 to over 610 within the past 10 years. There is also an increasing trend in the business sector to invest in and outsource services to social enterprises. The scope of services has become more diverse, extending from traditional retail and food and beverages industries to other fields such as elderly care, youth services, tourism, environmental protection, creative industries, and service businesses. To provide seed grants or seed money for eligible organizations to set up social enterprises in Hong Kong, the government launched the Enhancing Self-Reliance Through District Partnership Program in the year 2006. Since then, the program has approved a total of 205 projects, creating more than 5,000 jobs, of which about 80% of them are filled by the socially disadvantaged. We further introduced a new phase of the program last year with enhancement measures to support existing social enterprises to expand their business beyond startups and at the same time encourage participation of commercial sectors to further promote the development of social enterprises. While no effort is spared to foster the growth of social enterprises, we also established the 500 million Hong Kong dollar Social Innovation and Entrepreneurship Development Fund, the SIE Fund, in 2013 to serve as a catalyst for social innovation among social enterprises in Hong Kong. By supporting cross-sectoral collaboration and capacity building, the SIE Fund seeks to build an ecosystem in which social enterprises and social entrepreneurs can thrive, allowing their ideas, their products and services to reach unmet demand and helping to alleviate problems of poverty and social exclusion in the community. The SIE Fund develops the infrastructure of support for social innovation through leveraging its resources to bring new actors into the field or help existing agencies to scale up promising experiments through adopting the collective impact approaches to engage stakeholders from different sectors to jointly solve specific social problems, and through encouraging every business to create shared value by reviewing their operation practice to advance social and economic conditions in the community. So far, I'm happy to say that SIE Fund has supported over 80 social ventures involving a total funding of $32.5 million. The projects have benefited a wide spectrum of beneficiaries, including children, youth, elderly, people with disabilities, grassroots families, and of course, ethnic minorities as well. In addition to direct financial subsidy, the government also provides training and other support services for social enterprises to build up the capacity and enhance their competitiveness. Last year, we sponsored the Hong Kong Council of Social Service, the executive director is there, Mr. Choi Hoi Wei, to publish 2 handbooks on the operation and case analysis of social enterprises, serving as a reference guide for startups and other operators of social enterprises. As we all know, young people are our future, our hope. They are the most energetic and creative generation in our society, and they possess the greatest potential to drive the progress of our society. That is why we particularly encourage young people to involve in social entrepreneurship and translate the innovative ideas into action. To nurture young social entrepreneurs, the government has provided annual funding support for the Center for Entrepreneurship of the Chinese University of Hong Kong since the year 2008 to organize the Hong Kong Social Enterprise Challenge. The challenge seeks to encourage students to employ a creative entrepreneurial approach to solve social issues. So far, around 6,700 students have participated in the program. Among the 58 grand finalists, 27 have indeed translated their plans into practice and established their own social enterprises. We also help our social enterprises develop capacity and enhance their market competitiveness. To help them expand the market share and business network, we have been actively promoting their products and services to the public through media and online platforms, as well as activities such as the Tithe Ethical Consumption Movement and other commodity and food trading events. We also facilitate exchanges and discussions among relevant sectors, including businesses, academia, community leaders, non-government organizations, and government officials through cross-sector platforms like the Social Enterprise Summit today. We believe that cross-sector collaboration and innovative solutions, leveraging modern technology, can unleash the power and potential of everyone to bring systemic changes to society. The government will continue its roles as a facilitator and a promoter in the development of social enterprises and promotion of social innovation. We will partner with industry players to strengthen support for startups, social entrepreneurs, and ventures by, for example, offering co-working space and exploring new funding modes to meet different funding requirements of our social entrepreneurs. Indeed, as part of the new initiatives of the current term government's inaugural policy address last month, we launched the Space Sharing Scheme for Youth 2 weeks ago, and I actually had chaired a press conference, to provide a wide range of leasing options and supporting services for co-working space or studios for startups and young entrepreneurs at a concessionary rent no higher than half of the market rental. We welcome young pioneers to make use of this scheme to join the social enterprise sector. The scheme is predicated on corporate social responsibility and civic spirit of the business community, as well as the unstaining support of NGOs at large. It is a living and vivid example of tripartite cooperation of government, business, and government organizations in Hong Kong. On this note, let me convey my warmest congratulations once again to Rebecca and the 16 organizers for the successful conclusion of this year's Social Enterprise Summit. I also wish every one of you a rewarding afternoon, and those from overseas a pleasant and memorable stay in Hong Kong. Do take time out to see a bit of vibrant Hong Kong and shop here to boost our economy. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Cheung. Please take a seat. We will definitely continue the cross-sector collaboration. We will also invite Mrs. Rebecca Yeung, Chair of Social Enterprise Summit, to deliver the closing speech to us. Mrs. Yeung, please.
Mr. Matthew Cheung, friends and colleagues, first of all, I'd like to thank the Chief Secretary for attending this afternoon section and give us a wonderful concluding speech despite his busy schedule. I would also like to thank the speakers and facilitators of the concluding section for their excellent presentation and summaries. It has been a pleasure to see a sustained level of focused energy from over 3,000 delegates within the last few days. Everyone is busy learning, exchanging views, and exchanging name cards. There's so much dynamics happening all over the place. I'm sure all of us here would agree that our minds and our hearts are being opened and enlightened after hearing so much new thoughts and actions. I'd like to take a few minutes to reflect on where these past 2 days have brought us. In general, I'm happy to say that social innovation has successfully made the transition from being a marginal idea to become more mainstream and focused mainly on practice rather than just theory or promotional support. In the past few years, most of the activities were focused more on individual social innovations or individual social entrepreneurs. But now it is time to tackle issues at the level of systems or industries in particular, where the most impact will come from. At this summit, we focus on engaging different systems, for example, how to turn the business sector into a real force for social good, how to make use of technology to provide solutions to prevailing problems such as population aging, how charities and service organizations may revamp their services with design thinking. It is not easy to change the mindset and the way how government works, but we are very pleased to see that a high number of civil servants, led by the Chief Secretary himself, attend the summit and actively exchanging ideas with the speakers and other delegates. We heard how the government has responded positively to civic efforts and adopted successful social innovations led by civic parties into different policy areas. We certainly look forward to more innovations within the public sector, more experiments and collaborations to take place between the government and the civic sector. We also see a systemic change in the business sector. Businesses that used to seek profit maximization now transform themselves into a force for social good. Despite different names being used, whether it be creating shared value or profit with purpose or B Corps, there is a strong economic movement happening all over the world, not through philanthropy or CSR, but through consumption power or procurement power. We learned that the B Corp movement, which is sweeping across the world, it is a robust and concrete way of bringing change to the business world. Certifying as a B Corp is a way for companies to signal their commitment to the new way of doing business. I am very pleased to announce that Hong Kong will join this international league and set up a B Corp market builders after a year's time to launch the movement here. There are also other ways that corporates could create positive social and environmental impact. As we just heard from Colin, one of the most cost-effective ways is to leverage their procurement power. When they have to buy something from outside, they could scan the market and identify suppliers which have strong social mission, such as social enterprises, and buy from them as far as possible. In this way, they could obtain what they need and at the same time continuing to the growth of social enterprises. And we hope to launch this corporate buy social campaign in Hong Kong also. But for profit with purpose to be successful, impact investment must chip in so that both corporations and social enterprises may achieve significant and lasting impact. At the moment, investment from business and the public sector is still tiny. There's a huge hurdle that we should overcome. There has been also an extraordinary growth of digital social innovation and civic tech all over the world, particularly around open data, the maker movement, and citizen science. But they haven't made strong links with the civic organizations, and many have struggled to achieve large scale. We need to take civic tech and digital social innovation into the next stage with the right kinds of finance, incubation, and links into procurement. All serious innovation requires courage and leadership. That leadership can be concentrated right at the top, as we have seen what the Hong Kong government is doing today. But we believe that the spirit of social innovation is also to spread leadership throughout the society at every level. So at the community entrepreneurship sections this afternoon, we heard actions taken by both the civic and the public sectors to empower people at the community. Further support by philanthropy, public authorities, educational networks are much needed to enhance communal capacities to organize, create, and manage grassroots initiatives. And despite the sector's small size, social enterprises in Hong Kong have created tremendous impact here and throughout the region, particularly in mainland China and Taiwan. There are increasing collaborations between players in these areas. At the open call for action this afternoon, we have gathered a dozen social groups coming from the Bay Area who have shared their innovative community projects with us. We see huge potential for collaboration, and therefore we would like to propose a Guangdong, Hong Kong, Macau Bay Area social innovation platform. 我叫那个叫粤港澳大湾区社会创新发展平台 which will play an important role in fostering the development of social innovation within the Bay Area. Many delegates whom I talked to have felt that now is the time for social innovation to flourish, combining values with purpose to solve social missions. Many of us will leave energized to deepen their social innovation practice. Others are prepared to supply social innovation to specific problems. After the summit, we will summarize all these thoughts and ideas and develop a roadmap around priority areas for joint actions over the next 10 years. The commitments we made are not just about goals, targets, or KPIs. As Mr. Downie of腾讯has pointed out, AI stands not only for technology, but also AI. They are above all about empathy, a long-term commitment, and the courage to act boldly. Everyone has a role to play, and therefore we must challenge ourselves today to think differently and act decisively, so that together we can make the world a better place. As the 2017 summit has come to a close, I would like to thank all parties and individuals that have contributed to making this summit a success. In particular, our sponsors, co-organizers, partners, and supporting organizations, our student ambassadors who have helped out on site. Last but certainly not the least, I would like to thank most sincerely the organizing committee members and the staff of the Secretariat, including Blanche, Summer, Ava, Teresa, Edmund, and Sheen, who have spent many sleepless nights and who have worked incredibly hard to put this summit together. So I wish everyone a happy stay here and enjoy Hong Kong. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Leung. Please continue to stay. Social Enterprise Summit will definitely continue providing a strong partnership amongst various sectors, and there will be more major milestones to come. So may we now invite our officiating guests to come on stage for the closing ceremony. And they are our guest of honor, Mr. Matthew Cheung, Chief Secretary for Administration of the Hong Kong Special Administrative Region Government, Mrs. Rebecca Yeung, Chair of Organizing Committee of Social Enterprise Summit, Mr. Alan Cheung, Chair of Hong Kong Social Entrepreneurship Forum, Mr. Cha Hoi Wai, Deputy Chair of Organizing Committee of Social Enterprise Summit. We also have with us today our facilitator and keynote speaker, Mr. Antony Leung, Mr. Regan Do, Mr. Colin Downie, and last but not the least, Mr. Kyle Westaway. Let's give them a warm welcome on stage. And let's also welcome our co-organizers and organizing committee members to come on stage. So they will be holding the boards of different topics and different districts that we have visited to symbolize the fruitful discussion that we have had over the past few months. The International Symposium is a finale event. Earlier in April to October, we have also reached out to 6 districts to introduce social entrepreneurship and facilitate cross-sector collaboration through an array of activities. 咁大家手握住嘅咧，就係我哋呢2日嘅討論內容。咁國際研討會咧，每年就係每年咧最後一個嘅重頭戲啊。So let's take a look at our official photographer and take a good picture. Yeah. Wonderful. So on a count of 3, may we bring such wisdom with us and create more social change together. 咁我哋喺數3、2、1之後咧，就會匯萃我哋討論嘅成果咧，為社會咧帶嚟更多嘅改變同埋貢獻啦。不如我哋一齊數3、2、1好嘛？ So 3, 2, 1. So see you all next year. See you all next year, and we have a great discussion. Thank you all. Please be seated. Please be seated. Yes. we are bringing this year to a close, and we definitely look forward to the coming of next year and more fruitful discussion and insights ahead. So our international symposium has come to an end. Thank you for your participation. On 9th and 10th of November, there will still be community tour and social innovation visit. We hope to see you there. 多謝咁多位，都請大家咧可以就座。咁今年嘅國際研討會咧正式完結，非常之感謝咧大家嘅參與。嚟緊喺11月9號同埋10號，我哋有社創嘅體驗同埋社區嘅導賞，希望咧到時可以見到你。Your feedback is extremely invaluable for us, so please help to fill out the questionnaire and our helpers will collect it. Please be also reminded that to return our headset for simultaneous interpretation at the door. 我哋大會咧係非常之重視啦大家嘅意見嘅，咁所以咧喺大家座位上邊咧有一份問卷，希望大家咧都可以填咗佢，跟住交翻俾我哋嘅工作人員。大家離開之前呢，都記得去到我哋大門嘅接待處咧交還呢個傳譯嘅耳機。多謝大家，希望咧我哋出年再見。